right, ladies and gentlemen, David Costa, Renegade Aviator, my second podcast today. You have found the correct podcast, if that's the one you're looking for. Reno Air Racing, man, we are here talking about promoting, talking to the people involved in the Reno Air Races. And let me just put it up on screen real quick. I got a real special guest for you today, and I'll introduce him in just a second. But what I would like to do is show you this. National Championship Air Races have not gone away. And the Reno Air Show, the 4th through the 6th October for 2024, is a go. So make sure that if you're anywhere near Reno, we are not leaving Reno quite yet. We are going to put on a fantastic air show. I got the wrong banner up there. Look at that. There you go. How about that banner? Professional. Reno Air Show, 4th to 6th October. Come out and see Renegade Aviator, but you're going to see the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. You're going to see the Canadian Snowbirds. You are going to see the Viper demo. You're going to see a whole bunch of really cool people flying really cool airplanes over the skies of Reno, Nevada. But without further ado, I want to introduce somebody to you that I was highly recommended to interview by my good friend, Marilyn Dash, that I interviewed last week. So if you missed my interview with Marilyn, go back and look at that. She was a Pitts class racer, and Marilyn is involved in all kinds of cool stuff, air racing. And Dan Angelo, Valley of Speed, Marilyn told me, you got to interview Dan. He's the cool guy, and you've been involved in air racing for a long time as a fan and as a vendor. And, you know, we love vendors because you sell the really cool stuff we want to see.
Yeah, so, I've been doing it a long time. I've been going to the air races since 1986. Was a fan for a long time. I worked on the Risky Business Bad Attitude Air Race team from 97 to 01. When Bill missed a couple years, then I was kind of, just back at the fan type thing. And once I had kind of gotten my, I don't know, what my appetite to being involved with it, I was like, well, kind of what do I do now? And I hadn't quite answered that question until a good friend of mine purchased a sticker off of, it was eBay we were selling at the time. And it ended up on the cowling of precious metal. And Tom Richard had gotten his start in air racing, unlimited air racing. And we connected and started doing his decals for him. And then in 2012, he asked me, hey, can you do t-shirts? And I said, absolutely. I had never done a t-shirt in my life. I had no idea what was involved with it, but I said yes, and the rest was history. And then I had kind of saw that, from hanging out with photographers and just being a fan, that, man, it'd be nice to have a t-shirt of this aircraft that either didn't come anymore or the team didn't provide them. And I just saw something there, and I was like, you know what, let's start doing this stuff. And it was well received.
Well, hey, look, you know what? I love people that kind of just do, right? You know, as I always say, shut up, show up, be excellent. So here you are, somebody that, was a fan first. You got involved in air racing and said, how can I do something to help other people, right? So, people want t-shirts. People want to be a part of the event. They want to take a piece of air racing home, and the pilots get the glory, right? I'm a pilot, but it's everybody involved in the air races that make the event so special. And certainly wearing a shirt that they would buy from you, but you got started without a bunch of guidance. And this is the epitome of air racing, right? You just say, look, I see an opportunity. I'm going to take it.
Yeah. And it's, I had a lot of people help me along the way. When I knew it was a viable option, is I designed just a couple shirts with just some kind of silhouette type stuff on it, the Valley of Speed logo, and they hung it up in their vendor booth. And I, was cruising around doing my thing as a fan, and came back and they're like, you did good today. And I'm like, oh, what? And I was like, oh, sure, I did good, um, $80 or something like that. Well, it was much more than that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I need to take this seriously. And then I just kind of went to work with like, okay, well, what's popular? What haven't we seen in a while? Um, and just kind of went from there and just, spiraled it into other products. And, probably the best thing was, Mel, you should make this, you should make that, and it's just, if you hear enough of it, then it's like, oh, I probably should make that. And we brought, lots of racers back from, even this year with the Thunderbird shirt and, just different stuff that you just haven't seen. And there wasn't even a market for it until lo and behold, somebody brought the aircraft back and it's, people want to support this stuff. And then we ended up doing the Thunderbird design for the Dakota Territory Air Museum. And that's kind of where we're taking the business now is doing air museums and aviation entities and that type of thing. Just, to because how do you make a business work outside of, the 1 week in September?
Well, you've got fans because I'm seeing Dan the Man. I'm seeing people say hi to you. So this is you know what? I mean, you're doing something right because you wouldn't have everybody waving out to you. This is what I love to see. This is that, as everybody calls it, the September family, right?
Absolutely.
It's so much more. It's so much more than just an event. Dan, you would mention, you talked about Tom, right? Tom's a great guy. We were just talking about Tom offline a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got probably a few stories that are kind of cool to tell about, the air racers and their crews. Is there anything you'd like to maybe share on that? Some kind of cool memories looking back at memory lane of the races.
Yeah, geez, what a humbling deal. Like I was telling you offline, I was always just a t-shirt guy. So I was never really a threat either way. Like then there was a professional, we worked together professionally. If these guys told me stuff, I wasn't at liberty to say, to anybody else or put it on my Facebook page or any of that, So it was cool to get a lot of the information, ahead of the game where we were able to plan ahead with when Voodoo did the changed the yellow to the Hemi orange. We were ahead of the game. We knew that there was going to be the Roman numeral 5 on the back of it. And so we were able to put that shirt together, when we're ready for the races. We had an idea of what was going to go on with Bardal this year and then, how special that was going to be. And what Eric and Steve-O and everybody were doing. And it was just being in that middle, because, back when growing up doing this stuff, you didn't know what was happening until you got on the ramp. And then I was like, oh, this plane showed up, that plane showed up. Now it's just kind of like there's the leaks and stuff like that. And it was, you'd hang out with the photographers or you'd hang out with different friends and stuff like that and try to get tidbits. Oh, I heard this and I heard that. And now I had kind of gotten that special area where at least I knew. And it helped out with the business, but it also just helped out because it fed that desire of like, what are we going to see? What's going to happen? And I've yearned for that. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that, and coming up to this year, it's just kind of like we're going to do an air show. It's going to be great. It's a homecoming, if you will. But there won't be that geez, I wonder if we can get Strega against Bardal, get that, we don't have to worry about that. But that was just the magic of doing a lot of this, and of course the fans. It was amazing how the fans would, they come up to the booth. Thank you so much for bringing all this cool stuff and everything. They'd leave with 5 T-shirts, and then you'd see them back a couple hours later, and there are 3 T-shirts in their hands, and they're like, oh my, geez, I'm gonna end up getting hate mail from your wife. Like it was such a humbling experience.
Is there going to be any? Are you have any tricks up your sleeve for maybe a special Reno Air Show shirt for the for our not our goodbye to Reno, but at least our opening into the next phase? Maybe that'd be a cool idea. Something kind of really neat to kind of commemorate.
Always the gears are turning. I'm thinking about the future and so obviously something positive like farewell kind of thing. And, like we've always done our kind of, our own, Reno Air Race t-shirt. I kind of got my kickoff on that with, we did the 2019 official t-shirt, official poster, and then 2018 we did the official t-shirt. And that's just fun because you just get to bring everything together. And it's, have the Blue Angels, have the Snowbirds, and then, maybe, Dennis doing part of his routine, or, just something cool that just brings all that together. And, maybe the home pylon in the background, and, or even just kind of faded or something like that, where it's just kind of like, we did this. This was the most legendary part of air racing history. And it may be going forward, or, but it's, yes, we will
Well,
absolutely
yeah.
something will capitalize
Well,
on just how awesome this time has been.
yeah, so guys and gals that are listening, everybody that's involved here, there's a special discount code that I know you're running, Dan. It's Risk Renegade Aviator. You can get a discount on some of the stuff that you're on, or all the stuff. Maybe you should explain that in just a second. But here's what I want to also do. Maybe guys, reach out to Dan. Give him some ideas with kind of how we can kind of commemorate the Reno Air Show, the end of an era and the beginning of a new era, because all 7 classes are coming back. And that was direct out of Tony's mouth just a couple of weeks ago, that all 7 classes are coming back. And check this one out, Dan, you may have heard this: no speed limit on the course. So the 3 locations that are left, no speed limit on the course. So jets can go fast, the unlimiteds can go fast. Like I said, all 7 classes, and people can fly in. So the air races are not gone.
No, and that's fantastic. And thanks for mentioning the discount code. Yeah, it's Renegade Aviator, as Dave said. We're running it is live right now through Sunday at midnight, and that's on the whole order. Everything on the website. Also, we are getting more and more inventory up almost daily now on the website. My boys have actually been working really hard to get all that going, and just make sure it's right and ready, and we're efficient. We are totally blown out after Reno 2023, which was an absolute blessing, but having to, it was a we will rebuild type scenario after that. But what a good problem to have, and like I said, humbling, and so blessed to have such great fans, and the support of so many thousands of people. But yeah, so we're running a sale for you guys, and we'll have more sales this year. And just stay tuned to the page, and yeah, we're going to put together a good shirt for you guys, and just keep it going. And if you're an air museum, if you're an entity, some sort of aviation entity, contact us. We do all kinds of t-shirts, decals, embroidery, all of it, and graphic design. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it's we need to support everybody in air racing. So air racing is not just the pilots, it's not just the crews, it's everybody who comes out. It's a great local. You saw it, Dan, and look at the amount of business that air racing brings a local community. So one of these three new potential places is going to get a big shot in the arm of people want to come out and they want to see cool racing. They want to see a cool air show, and they spend money on food, on t-shirts, on you name it. But a little bit, if we could, while we only got about 15, 20 minutes left, can I ask you what your favorite class is? What's your favorite class in air racing?
I don't want to hurt your feelings, Dave.
No, you won't. I have no feelings left to hurt.
Okay. Unlimited, hands down.
I knew it. Well, I knew it. So, and it's a lot of people like that. So, we always hear this, and we were just talking about this. Why I kind of set you up a little bit there. Everybody wants to grouse and moan, right? Everybody, I talk about this every single week. There's those on social media that will say nothing but negative things, that, oh, well, if this aircraft doesn't show up, right, I'm not going. And that's the exact opposite of what we all should be doing right now, right? We should be preparing for this new generation of racers. And we hope. I mean, I love unlimited. I like all the classes, but I like the jets, obviously. I love the unlimiteds, but if we want to see more unlimiteds in the future, we got to support the whole deal. We can't just pick and choose. Am I off base?
We do, and we need to have gratitude for the aircraft that we do see. The Warhawk Air Museum bringing down the P-51B and the P-40s and stuff like that. I mean, that's fantastic. Where else are you going to see? I mean, you get to see this airplane fly by you 6 times. Sure, it's at 300 miles an hour, but you know what? It's not a racing aircraft. Where else are you going to see this? And even Dreadnought. And where else are you going to see a 420 mile an hour lap 50 feet above the ground? Where else are you going to see that? Like, sure, it's not the 470s, the 480s. Yeah, it's good noise. It sends chills up my spine, and everything. But you're not going to see that anywhere else in the world.
No,
so
you
it's
aren't.
be there, or if that's not good enough, then I guess that it's not worth your time. But it certainly is worth mine. Those guys can parade around there. They can stage it. It'll be like WWE wrestling for all I care, as long as there's good noise and everybody goes home at the end of the week. I'm perfectly content. We'll be there.
And you know what? In talking to the air racing folks, the people that know more than I do, right? I'm just a guy that does a podcast, and I threaten Jet Class that if they're not nice to me, I will come back. I never was there, but I will come back. We had put jets on the course, but it's my inside joke with the guys in the jet class. We will have Pete Zaccanino on next week, by the way. So Pete and I will razz each other. But where I'm going with this whole thing is to really make this where each of us have our own little way that we can promote air racing, because of the people that we get together with that show up and watch air racing all the time, there's so many more people that have never seen a race. I had a question a couple weeks ago. A guy said, "What is Rah doing to get new people involved in watching air racing?" I said, "Well, what are you doing? What do you do? How are you sharing stuff?" So, ladies and gentlemen, if you buy a T-shirt that has an air racer on it, you're going to walk around and people are going to say, "Well, what is that airplane all about?" We'll talk about it. So people say, "Well, why are we talking T-shirts when we're talking air racing?" Because the T-shirts we wear, that tumbler you buy, is a way to promote air racing just by walking around town. So I wear my swag every day, right? And kind of that's where I'm going with this, Dan, is that you have a very vital role, because the air races are just for that 1 week, right? But
Yeah.
we wear your T-shirts and we wear all that stuff all year round. That's promotion. And without promotion, we ain't racing.
Right. And yeah, it's just, I try to make every shirt that I do a conversation piece. That's why, you put the records on there and everything. Like, I mean, doing Dago red shirts are fun because it's, fastest, average lap, fastest lap time, world speed record, 15 kilometer, and it's just, you can talk about it, and it's a beautiful aircraft. And, I think that the sport class is going to be huge on bringing new, younger generation in. I like to think of them as like almost like the sport compacts of air racing, where they're using, turbochargers and stuff like that to make big power. And if you're a hot rod guy, you're a hot rod guy. But, when a Honda lays down an 8-second quarter mile, you got to respect that. And when a Legacy does a 400 mile an hour lap, everybody's paying attention. And I think that kind of stuff really needs to be pumped to the next generation, along with the Bush aircraft too.
Stoll.
Stoll. Thank you. I just couldn't think of that. It's obtainable. It's people can get into this and start figuring out Formula One's a great way to get in. We've got several people that have, just worked their way up from rubbing shoulders with me to air racers. And it's just, you can be part of it. You can enjoy it. However, but we need more people. And, I mean, my kids ask me once a week about, the air racing, what's going on, where's the next race and everything. And they wear their shirts to school, and, it's just, we got to do something. And because if we don't do anything, then it dies. And it's, well, what do we do to promote this, to get
Well, it does, and of the people I've talked about inside of the Reno Air Race Association, National Championship Air Races, they're aware of the purse situation. They're aware that the purses have to be there, that the environment has to be right, that the fans need to be brought in. They're aware of all that stuff. So I think we all hate change, or at least most of us do, right? I mean, everything's great the way it used to be, we always think. But we've got an opportunity coming up here with the races to have better racing than ever. And, especially no speed limit on the course, wide open spaces. Yeah, you can look at those three cities and like one and not like another, but it really doesn't matter, because if we promote racing, if we expose the next generation of kids and adults to what air racing is going to be in the future, we preserve it for years to come. And if we don't do our part, and that's the only, when I'm doing this podcast, very similar to you, Dan, you just wanted to take what you could do, right? You help where we can. We can't do it all, but all of us here, and I'm seeing all these comments today and people chiming in. It's so great to really see that, because our audience is growing. And it's a reminder to all of us that are on this today, is that we have a responsibility that if we want to see air racing continue, do whatever little bit we can with what we have. I mean, am I off base with that? I usually am, but why not?
No, not at all. It's, I mean, you nailed it. It's, I can't do it all. You can't do it all, but we have to do our part. And we're going to continue doing our part. We're going to continue making the shirts. We're going to continue, putting them out there and everything. We're not going anywhere. The fans are still out there. They still love this stuff. We're still even seeing strong sales. We want to be there. We'll be there for the next event, and let's do it all over again and see where it goes. Maybe it won't be what it was, but it'll be something. It'll be a chance for us to all hang out and talk about the good old days or whatever. But we all need to be positive about this, because it doesn't do anybody any good to be negative about it. Let's go out and have a good time and hang out around airplanes and these people we've come to love and call our September family. Let's do it.
Yeah, you can't, and then who knows? Maybe it won't be in September. And like, oh my God, if it's not September, it might be the October family, it might be the July. I don't know, right? We don't know anything, but really, that's what it is. If we want to keep getting back together again, we need to stay involved. So one of the ways you can stay involved, to make sure, visit Dan's site. If you're saying hi on there, get a Reno shirt, promote it, wear it proudly. You got all these super aircraft being shown, a lot of the team apparel. When you show that team apparel, everybody wears NASCAR stuff, right? It may have never been to a NASCAR event. We got a way better event than NASCAR, because where else are you going to see stuff flying 500 miles an hour, 50 feet off the ground? And as you mentioned, Dan, even the sport class guys are over 400. Where are you going to see F1 racers? Where are you going to see pit specials flying, T6s, everything? Well, I've seen a T6 at an air show. Well, that's great. You may have, but have you seen 7 of them flying around, low to the ground, making all that noise? So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so we're you got a bunch of people chiming in here. A new vacation spot. Yeah, maybe people have been getting sick of going to Reno all the time. It's time for a change. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what to expect. I'm looking forward to it. I just think that I'm humbled by seeing the hard work other people have been doing for a whole lot longer than I have been. So. Dan, how again? Give your website again so people know how to find you. I'm sure they do. They probably know exactly how to find you. But go ahead and say your website.
Speedapparel.com. And again, the promo code is Renegade Aviator for 20% off your entire purchase on the website. And also, we gotta support Dave too for doing this, putting this out there and keeping everybody involved and everything. Get a shirt from him too. Get a shirt from the Air Race Association. You guys don't need to just buy from me. We all, could use the help, and they're all conversation pieces because we're all celebrating this one event. So, get out there, celebrate. Keep your head up about this, and let's go make some memories somewhere else and see how it goes. I mean, I know it's scary, but like let's give it a shot. Like this is great. I mean, and there's a tremendous amount of talent involved with Tony and Chris Johnson and all those folks doing this. They've got a lot of potential. They put together a hell of a last show for us, and that show is going to be great too. No racing, fine, but Vicky will be there with her aircraft. I believe Dennis is going to be there with his aircraft.
Yep.
It might even just be a homecoming. I mean, for a lot of racers, just we'll bring it up, park it on the ramp or whatever. So it'll likely bring back a lot of memories, and it'll just be a good time. Well, I mean, you got something better going on that weekend? I don't. I'll be there.
Well, and so will I. We're going to be flying the show. We're going to be there, shaking hands, having fun. And I don't want to be remiss. That STEM Disco site you see at the bottom there, they are offering. I mean, their goal is to bring in 6,000 students that prior to the main event, bring kids in to have them see the airplanes, see our practice day, for free, no cost at all. So, we're still giving back to the aviation community, and just really want to make sure that people support this last event in Reno, because that's going to spearhead 2025. We had one of the racers contacted me and said, when are they going to let us know? Because we got a plan. Well, the latest news is by the end of April, we ought to have an update as to which city, or at least, I don't know their timeline at all, but the last I heard from Tony was end of April, we ought to know. So that gives the racers and the teams a whole lot of time to prepare for 2025. But you want to see an unlimited racer. You mentioned it. Vicky is one of my friends. That is going to be a beautiful airplane. Come on out and see her P-51. Saunders is coming out with his airplane, and I'm sure I'm missing people because I'm going off of memory. But our close target, right? I'm a former Marine Corps sniper, so my close target is the air show in October. We are going to have some special deals for you to get tickets to the Reno Air Show 4 through 6 October. Right through this podcast, you're going to get a special discount. We're going to give some cool giveaway stuff, and Dan, maybe you and I will talk about some of that stuff. And then we're going to be local around Reno. And Dan, you're welcome to join us at any of the things. We got a 40-foot RV. Any Reno event that we can plan for, we'll bring out our big rig that's all wrapped and kind of promote ticket sales for the air show 4 through 6 October, so we can springboard into the new chapter in 2025.
Nice. And another thing, they're going the night show. The night show is going to be epic. I'm so excited about that. It's always a delight at Sun and Fun. And anytime I've dealt with that, just the sunset and the and aircraft, you can't go wrong. So
it's the first night show ever in the state of Nevada, from what I've been told.
That's great. See, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good people behind this, and they know what to do. And I'm optimistic about the future of air racing, wherever it may be.
Bobby Thompson was able to pull together these shows. I remember we sat at the ICAST meeting, and Bobby wasn't saying much, but then we heard the one team coming, the Blues, and then Snowbirds coming, and the Viper demo. So Bobby and Chris and Terry and everybody who's involved getting these military groups to come out. That was the big thing, and we'll kind of wrap it up here as we come up onto our 30 minutes. But I remember when we had the races, and everybody thought the races would be around forever. that everybody was complaining about the air show side of it. So there's always going to be naysayers. And every time we go on social media, there's always somebody who's going to pontificate and say, you know, well, the air races were there, but I wanted to see a really good air show. Well, now you got a really good air show coming to Reno while we prep for the even better air racing to come. I mean, it's like people probably complained when the Cleveland National Air Races went away, right? Somebody probably said, "Well, that's it. Air racing's over. The Cleveland Air Races are gone. We'll never see that again." And then look, Reno came and remember the old Phoenix Air Races, the old Phoenix,
absolutely.
you know, and people were still talking about that. I had people reaching out and saying, "Oh, that was a great event." Well, sure it was, but hey, things are changing. We got some air racing that's supposedly coming out down in Vegas. Who knows what's going to happen? So,
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to have a couple different events, but at least this time around, I mean, with Phoenix and Tunica, and that was kind of while the Air Race Association helped with those, that was kind of their own program. We've got the Air Race Association involved with the next one, so that they know what they're doing. They know what it takes to put on an air race. So again, I'm optimistic about it, and if not, we'll be there. You know, we're gonna have a good time with it, and let's do the next generation.
well, right on. Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to reach out to you because I need a new T-shirt vendor. I'll explain why later. But I want to thank you for everything you've done, being there at all the races. And again, if my buddy Marilyn recommends you, and I see a bunch of other people agree with Marilyn, I'm just pleased to meet you. The first time I met you was today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to shaking your hand in person.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on here, and thank you, Marilyn. She's been down since day one with Valley of Speed, and she's fantastic and probably the best advocate I know for air racing. And yeah, we're gonna be here. We're gonna keep making these T-shirts for you guys. And thanks for having me, and thanks for what you do for all this. Like you said, let's all put our part in and see where we can take this. Again, I'm optimistic.
Right on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next week, Pete Zaccanino and I are going to the two Italian guys from New Jersey talking air racing. So it should be good. So Dan, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We're at 30 minutes, 32 minutes, so I'm late. But I'm grateful to each and every one of you. This is David Costa. I am the Renegade Aviator. See ya.